Okie dokie. So I just want to say a big welcome to everybody, and thanks for coming along to our Fun Mum workshop. You can hear that I have a little bit of a cold, and so that actually means my brain is a little bit fuzzy as well. But hopefully we can still get through that, and it might actually be more fun if I say something that's a little weird. Hopefully not too crazy tonight. But what I'd love to do is just get you to share in the group, if you can, to say where you're from and how you're going, and even how many kids you have. That would be great as well. And we'll get started soon. Hopefully tonight we'll only be going. Well, I think it'll be just under an hour, so we'll see how we go. I'd love to have everyone's participation in this. And now I'm going to see if I can change my slides. Just a second. Here we go. Great. So tonight you're in the right place if you are so busy with the daily stuff that it actually feels a little bit overwhelming and you kind of don't feel like you've even got very much time for fun. If you want to learn what it means to you to be a fun mum, because that's really important. It's not about what I think a fun mum is and even what your friends think a fun mum is. It's about what you feel is being a fun mum, and also kind of what is your personality in that as well. And then if you want to create some simple steps to be more fun in your own life and then with your family as well, and how to do that, then that's hopefully what we'll be going through tonight. Oh, and here we are. So basically tonight we're going to have lots of questions, and I'd love some feedback as we go along. And I'd really like you to think about, what does this mean to me? So when you think, okay, here's how I'm going with motherhood and this sort of thing, I'd love you to really think about what, how it applies to you and what you can. I'm sorry, I'm just checking that people coming in on mute. Fabulous. So think about it. What does this mean to me? Because that's how you'll get the most out of this workshop tonight. It's not just a webinar where I'm talking at you and teaching the whole time. It's really about applying it for your own situation as well. And I'm just checking. I'm still learning this. I'll share with you my top 5 tips to being more fun. These are things that I hope that when you kind of get off the webinar tonight and when you get up tomorrow morning, you'll be able to really go and kind of have your fun glasses on, so that you can actually think, this is how I could do this and change this up to be a little bit more fun. And then finally, we're going to come up with some fun ideas that you will use in your life and with your family as well. So that's going to be that's the plan for tonight and how we're going to be doing that. So let me keep going. So about this workshop, as I said, it's interactive. So please join in, jump into the chat room and share some of your ideas with me. That would be great. Grab a pen and paper if you want. I haven't given you a handout because I didn't think you probably needed that many more notes going around. But if you want to take some notes just to jot down a few ideas as they happen to you, that would be fabulous as well. And also feel free to ask any questions in there. We'll have a bit of time at the end where we ask some questions. But in the meantime, if you want to write them in the chat box, then we can answer questions as we go along as well. So I would like to just start off by introducing myself a little bit. My name is Tanya, and as you can see in that picture, I am the mum of 2 boys, and they are at school, and that is fabulous for me because I was struggling a little bit with them at home. And so the thing that I did, I was actually a stay-at-home mum, and so I used to put a lot of work into actually researching activities and ideas of things to do. And so the reason for that was because I kind of needed to run it a little bit like a family daycare, just so I felt in control and actually had some ideas. I can remember my husband once, I liked something on Facebook. I think it was a blog called Frugal Fun for Boys. And my husband saw it and he said, "Oh, this is so great. This is exactly this sort of thing that you do." And I kind of realized at that point that he didn't have much idea of actually how much time I spent researching activities and things to do. So I kind of realized then that I was putting a lot of work into that. And really what that meant for my 2 boys was that when they actually went to school, it was actually a really lovely and smooth transition, because I'd kind of had some structured activities that we used to do, and then they kind of kept going when they went into preschool and primary school as well. And essentially my role before I became a mum, I was a leader of a statewide youth organisation, and so I had a lot of training and organising roles with organising events and things like that. And I really learned through that I'm really passionate about helping people be all they can be. So that's great as a mum. I've got a real calling there to help my boys grow up to be all they can be. But in my business at the moment, that's my role, is helping mums to be all they can be. And that's why I've got this workshop tonight. So now I'd just love to share with you a little bit about Coaching Mum, and just, I guess, sort of the heart behind what I do through Coaching Mum, and what you can expect from kind of being in the Coaching Mum world a little bit. So this is basically the couple of things that I've really learned about working with mums, is that we've kind of got this external thing that we need to, just life management things that we need to keep working on and that we need to keep dealing with every day, whether that's all of the household management or parts of the household management, working in the home, outside the home, our volunteer roles, coordinating activities for our kids, and that often has led to overwhelm and things like that. So there's a lot of work that we can do there on managing life. And then there's also internal work that happens sometimes that needs to happen when we're feeling confused about our identity, when we're struggling with our mindset and we're not sure about our purpose. And so what I find is that the external stuff is kind of leading to overwhelm, but the internal, my experience of not kind of being clear on that when I was a mum was that actually led to a lot of, I kind of describe it as really real confusion and like being unsure about the role that I was playing. So they're the two areas that I really focus on in my work with mums. So this top one is really practical sort of things that we can do, and the bottom one is transformational. So it helps you really see the role that you're playing and preparing kind of for what you want to do in the future as well. And with all that, my key phrase is that I want to help mums to be the mum that they want to be. And so I'm really thankful that you're here tonight, because in the Fun Mum workshop, we're going to be learning about being the fun mum that you want to be. So let's get into it. So I want to be a fun mum. What I'd love you to start off with is to give me some feedback on how fun you think you are at the moment. So as you see here, I've got a scale of 1 to 5. So we've got 1, you feel like you're boring and mean all the time. Or 5, you think you're heaps of fun. And just let me know in the chat box, are you kind of on a 1 on the scale, or are you a 5? Where do you think you fit at the moment? Maybe you're a bit of both in the middle. Excellent. Okay, I'm getting some 3s, which is fabulous, because that seems a bit balanced. And I think I really want you to know that 5 doesn't mean we've thrown all of the rules and the boundaries out the, oh, I'm writing on this, I think, accidentally. Anyway, doesn't mean we've thrown all the rules out, but it's actually about saying, here, we've got the opportunity to think about the fun. And Rita said when she's stressed, she's number 1. And that's so true. When we're stressed and we're trying to get kids out the door, me getting my kids ready for school in the morning, I'm totally a 1. I'm not boring. I'm like, getting the timer on and getting mean. Tara says, I think I'm a 2, it could be a 3. Excellent. But that's great, Tara. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to work on moving you up the scale just a little bit. So thanks for answering there for those who've done that. I don't know where those lines have come from. Yeah, excellent. Got to be strict, but also a bit of fun sometimes. Great job, Susie. So what stops you from being a fun mum? When you think, I've turned on annotate, maybe that's why I'm getting red lines. Sorry about this. I don't know how to change that. What stops you from being a fun mum? So I'd love to have some more feedback. When you think, oh, I want to be more fun, but I just don't know how. Or, what are some of the things that are stopping you from being the fun mum that you want to be? I'd love to just get some feedback there. And I want you to think about, if I change back, it's because I'm flicking between. What are the internal and external factors that might be? So the internal factors might be just like I'm just feeling like I'm not coping with everything, and it's not something that's a focus for me. The external factors might be my kids are so busy, and after school I just feel like we've got no time. So thanks, Rita. You've answered that. Work pressure, absolutely. When you're just running all the time trying to fit everything into your day. The work pressure and the stress and being tired is a huge one when you actually are trying to fit all of that in. And so I really hope that tonight, as we go through the 5 top tips, that you'll see that it doesn't have to take all that much time, but it's actually about seizing the moment. Elise has said external, I feel like there's so many tasks I have to get done in a day. Absolutely, that never-ending to-do list when you have to do it. Work focus and requirements, scheduling it all is difficult and to getting it all done. So absolutely, we're all talking about those external things. Working, can check in at work, at home now. Yep. So yeah, especially if you're actually bringing work home with you, absolutely, it takes your focus away. And so to actually focus then, like we're doing tonight, and being a fun mum brings us back and helps us to make that a higher priority. And phone is a massive distraction too. Thanks, Tara. That is a huge one for many people I know. Absolutely, me too. I find that, you know, there's so many times I keep picking up my phone, and I kind of think about it sometimes and think I'm actually seriously modeling that to my boys as well. And so they're going to think it's just totally normal that I should check my phone however many times. I don't even want to think about however many times a day. And so it's great to have those times where you actually just put it away and don't actually do it. We haven't got to the point of having it at the dinner table yet, unless we're all Googling something that's a discussion point or something like that. But absolutely, the phone is a huge potential one for distraction. So thanks for sharing those. Just as we keep on going with some of those reflection questions, I want to ask this one because I think that it actually kind of helps us to put a little bit of perspective into our lives about what, oh, I'm trying to undo my annotations. I don't think that's going to work. Anyway, so what are your fun memories growing up? If we can share some of those, what that can do is just spark some ideas of what the fun really means to us growing up. So for me, one of my fun memories growing up, what have I got here? Here we go. So special memories or events where you think that actually, like, birthdays were always really special. One of the birthday memories that I have with my family is it just became a family tradition to wrap one of the presents in like 50 layers of paper, of newspaper. And so I can just remember my parents, and they'd unwrap a present and it would still have more wrapping, and they'd be like, oh, we'll throw it away then because it's obviously rubbish. And we'd all scream, no, no. So that was just a huge fun memory for me. And when I think about it, I think that I need to do some of those things with my children. Thanks, Elise. You've shared, we went on a holiday where we flipped a coin each day to decide where we were going to drive to next. It was so spontaneous. So that's a beautiful memory. And that's the kind of thing that really shows you're all there together as a family, and you are kind of being spontaneous and you're not quite sure what's going to happen. And that creates this real sense of anticipation in your kids. And especially when you as parents are feeling relaxed and able to take those chances, then that's just such a wonderful thing for your children to experience with you. One of our other special fun memories was that there were days where we'd get off the school bus and we'd come home and we'd come in and the lights were turned off in the house, and my mum and dad would say, get dressed in your swimmers, we're going to the lake, and we'd drive to half an hour away to a lake and we'd go swimming and we'd have fish and chips. So that was just such a fun memory for me as well. So here we go. What are some of the daily fun moments that you had? And Rita said family dinners. And they're such great, that it's actually been proven in studies now that having dinner together as a family is actually going to create real health, real mental health, and real stability for your children. So I really encourage you, if you're not doing dinner together as a family, to do that. It can be hard with little kids and eating at different times too, but make sure that becomes a priority for you as well. I really encourage you to do that. My mum and I used to chase each other up our stairs with our unit block, just giggling. So simple. Absolutely, Tara, but what a beautiful memory that is. And you know, just to be able to picture that for as you think about it, and just remember the fun that was happening. Susie said reading books together, and Now, that's something my family probably didn't do much, but I've heard about other people, like when the Harry Potter books were coming out, and they would wait for it to be released and no one was allowed to read it until they actually read it as a family. Listening to music and dancing around the kitchen with our mum, fabulous. And that's so many fun moments. And what you've done right there, everybody, is you've actually just created a whole list of things right now that you can actually think, we can do those sort of things. They don't take much time to run upstairs and chase somebody. Listening and dancing to music doesn't take much time. All it takes is actually me being willing to do that and to have that fun. Leanne said family holidays, and Dad used to play board games with us every night of the holidays. Oh, and that's so special. And I hope that that's something that you are going to be able to do, Leanne, with your kids as well. And actually talk about your dad too, and how he used to do that with you as well, because that's such a special memory. So thanks so much. I love all the interaction in this. And going on from that, so they're all our past memories. But what I'd love to know is what's actually been fun about being a mum so far. And so often when I'm coaching mums, we can talk a lot about kind of one aspect of motherhood and how we're going, and also kind of talk about the struggle, but we don't actually realize, hey, we're winning at some things already. And so if you've been saying to yourself, I'm not very fun and I wish I was more fun, I want you to think about the moments that you will already have had with your kids that you've shown that you can be a fun mum. One of my favourite ones, I can remember lying on the bed, on my bed with one of the kids, and we just kept setting each other off laughing. So he would laugh and giggle, and that would make me laugh, and then that would make him laugh. And I just kind of realised in that moment, I went, I'm so blessed to be able to experience this, to actually kind of stop in this moment and really think about it and think how special this is. So that's something that was a really special thing for me. I'd love you to think about what moments stand out to you when you think about your kids so far. And if some of you have really, really small babies, there might not have been fun moments so far. But I'll tell you, in preparing for this workshop tonight, I actually went through a whole heap of old photos because I kind of wanted to have some example photos to show you in the presentation coming up. It's a little bit of a family album, and I just had heaps of fun looking at my babies, and golly gee, they were happy. I must have pulled the camera out every time they smiled, I think. And I just love that because I went through and I went, yes, they're having so much fun, and we had so much fun when they were home. It was hard work, of course, and it was a hard work personally for me, a kind of a difficult time for me, but we certainly had lots of fun moments. When you think about these moments, what do they mean to you? I hope that what happens is you get that reassurance of the way that you are being as a mum is so precious to your children and is actually already creating this. It's like you're setting it up for fun, and by focusing on fun in the midst of everything else that you're focusing on, you're going to create those special moments that you had with your mum and dad when you were a young child as well. So let's get into this, my 5 steps to being more fun. So wherever you were on the scale, let's talk about being more fun. So this first one, make fun a priority. We find time to do what's important to us. And as we said earlier, time and overwhelm with all of the other priorities is absolutely one of the biggest issues that we face as mums. Often if we have that chance to be a stay-at-home mum, it can be a little bit like, oh, I don't know what to do and what to fill my day with. But when you make that a priority, you actually see more opportunities, and it might not be set up. As you can see in this picture here, I've used Nappy boxes to create a big rolling ball tunnel for my kids. And I tell you what, these colourful balls we used in many, many ways. In fact, I've got one under my chair right now that I can saw before, so they're still floating around, and my boys still play with them. But when you make it a priority, when you actually think about it, and you've made it a priority by being here tonight, then you'll actually find that time to do a little bit more of it. And so it might simply be you've picked your kids up, you've finished work and you're driving home from childcare, and one day you're like, let's do something crazy, and you go a different way home. Or, you know, even as we drive, we spot Domino's cars. That's one of our fun games. You know, and it might be that you actually just kind of have that thing where you go, actually, you know, every now and then we're going to do something that's a little bit different. So the next one is to plan big things, like the big holidays and the big events that might happen in your life, but also make the most of the small things. And the picture there is simply that you can see I've pulled my couch forward away from the window and put the curtains over, and that made a cubby house for my kids. And we managed to put in, that day we put in the table and chairs, and they were doing some drawing by the window. So it's such a small thing that didn't take very long at all, but gave them kind of a different way to play that day. And then I think throughout the day, they were different games and things set up there. And again, that the whole thing of, you know, changing something and making it a little bit different is such novelty for the kids that they actually really enjoy it. So it doesn't have to cost anything or take much time at all, but it can be really enjoyable for the kids to do. So value those everyday opportunities to connect and have fun, exactly like we were talking about earlier, with the laughing together, with the reading, sitting and reading together. Even a family movie night is kind of a small thing in the scheme of it, but when the kids can anticipate it and look forward to, they can get so excited about it. But also remember that planning those big things is really important too, because they've shown that anticipating and planning for a holiday is actually half the fun of it when you're actually thinking about it all the time and planning for it. So I know that certainly that over time when we've had bigger family holidays, that's been a really exciting thing to look forward to. So include an element of surprise. And in this one, you can, this picture is Hulk skiing down some bananas, which I took just the other day. This is an old photo. But what happened was I was in the lounge doing some reading and saw Hulk with these sticks in his hand. And I thought, oh, he could be skiing. So I set it up on the fruit bowl. And then the next morning at breakfast, the kids came out and saw this happening, and they laughed, and it was great. And I think one of the things there for me is that you get joy out of seeing your children's joy. So when you see them enjoying opportunities and things that you've created and set up for them, then that brings a lot of joy to you and gives you that sense of fulfillment. So when you have that element of surprise, even like I was saying, a bigger one before was a spontaneous trip to the lake for our family. It just kind of builds that excitement about things that are happening as well. And that's why birthdays are so special, and other events like that. But yeah, in the daily thing, like setting a toy up in a way that is quite unusual and makes the kids laugh, it kind of gives you such joy too that you've put in a tiny little bit of effort and you've been able to do it. I'm not one for Elf on the Shelf where that has to move every day. I haven't committed to that, but just doing it every now and then really helps your kids. And so I'd love you to think about that. Now, one of these ones, I'm just not sure which one I'm up to. I'm up to number 4. Join in. You can see this is the one you might have seen on the advertising I was doing. This is me sliding down a slippery dip with my 2 very little children. That's probably 6.5 years ago. I'm just going to have a little sip of water. Joining in. So getting on the same level as your kids and enjoying what they enjoy. One of the things that's really important, especially with really young kids, is actually to sort of simply get down on their level, get down on the floor or sit at the table with them and actually playing with them and seeing how they enjoy it and what they're enjoying about it and talking to them about it. If your kids don't tend to play by themselves very well, I've certainly read in blog posts before that actually sitting and playing with them for a few minutes and then saying, okay, now I'm going to go and do this, it kind of sets them up and gets them ready so then they can actually play a little bit by themselves, hopefully, and get used to that. I know that some mums really struggle when they find that their kids don't play by themselves very much. Now, the reason I was actually going down that slide that day was because one of my kids got too scared. It was a very fast slide. So in the end, I had to climb up and go down it with them. I've been up in the very tall McDonald's playgrounds as well, to rescue children. But the more important message there is to actually just get down on their level and enjoying what they enjoy. At the moment, with my boys a little bit older, that means listening to Minecraft stories, and I can't say that I enjoy that a whole lot, but I try and do ask a couple of questions just to interact with them a little bit. But you know, just to actually even to use their Hulk Lego in that sort of thing made them kind of realise that I'm seeing what they're doing, and I'm making sure that I'm kind of part of their world as well. And this last one, be a little bit silly. Now, I didn't find a photo of me being silly, because often when I was silly, I didn't have a camera. But, you know, just being a little bit silly with your kids. So for us in our house, that means breaking into song at a whole lot of opportunities to break into song. We often change the words to our songs from musicals very often to fit with what we're doing. So at the moment, we're rewriting The Greatest Showman, and we've got a few parodies of Moana songs going on around the place. And then just, you know, silly dancing, you know, making sure, not necessarily wearing undies outside your clothes, but, you know, putting their pants on your head when you kind of saying, and where are your pants? You know, all of those things that you kind of think, actually, this doesn't take any time at all, but I'm just going to be a little bit silly. And I dare you to actually do that and to get them to laugh at you. And then, like, even doing that is teaching such a great skill of getting them to know that laughing at yourself is okay, and having fun together is a fabulous way to do it. So I'm just going to have a little check-in. So which one of these resonates with you? I'll actually read them over again. So making it a priority, planning the big things, but making the most of the small things too, including an element of surprise, joining in with your kids in having fun, and being a little bit silly. I'd love to hear from you which one of those resonates with you. And the next question, what are you going to do differently? Have you got any ideas of things that you actually might be able to pick up and do after this workshop, do differently tomorrow that you might be able to do? I know that Rita said particularly joining in, fabulous, and making it a priority. Thanks, Elise. I know that certainly one of the people I was talking to once said, you know, my husband has so much fun with the kids, and I just look at it and think, why can't I have that sort of fun? And I said, well, what are they doing? And, you know, they're chasing each other, and they're wrestling, and she's watching them. And I said, well, why don't you join in? Now, my boys really love rough play, and I know they need rough play, and I can't do it because they're too big and strong at the moment. So when my husband's doing rough, we call it rough play, like rumbling or wrestling or whatever. So when they're doing it, there's times that I just let them go for it. But there's times that I go and I jump on everybody when they're doing it on the bed, and tickle everybody as well, or when I help out. So why not just join in to some of those things as well? The other one, like my son just had a birthday, and we got him, he really wanted Laser X blasters. So basically laser tag that you can play in your home. And the other day he wanted to play it, and I said, look, when I finish doing this job and you finish packing up the lounge room, I said, I'll have a game with you. So we ran around and you know, we're shooting each other. Doesn't sound very good, but you know, just joining in was such a great opportunity there to kind of he was so thrilled that he got this present, and so, you know, it was a great opportunity to actually do that. There's been other times that I've they were reading on their beds, and I kind of went in with a Nerf gun attack, and that caused a lot of laughter as well. I felt like I was in the Matrix a little bit, but but, you know, such a great opportunity. And at least in making it a priority, that's great. So what I'd love you to do is to really have a think about those 5 things, and to kind of, go with those and actually think about what can I do differently, and how can I bring that sense of fun to being a mum in this stage of life. So my main message there is to seize the fun. Leanne says she'd like to be a bit more silly with my kids. That's great. Thank you for saying that, Leanne. And again, as I said earlier, you don't have to be somebody that you're not. like it doesn't have to be like really, really out there, but you know, even just kind of sometimes, you know, one of the silliest things we do is we sit at the dinner table and you know, you have carrots sticking out of your mouth and you're like, oh, do I have something in my teeth? You know, just actually making those little moments really fun, and you know, not being embarrassed, I guess, because this is just in our house, and it's just about having fun together. But main message: seize the fun, carpe fun. As you can see that picture, I seized the moment to go puddle jumping. Is that a thing? And if you want to jump in puddles, you must wear your boots. So thanks, Peppa Pig. We've all learned that one really well. But I also then go, right, there's an opportunity to go and get completely saturated and wear our boots and rain jackets and actually enjoy jumping around in the rain. So make sure if you have those opportunities that you kind of, in some ways, it's a really intentional thing to actually put your, you know, put what you're doing down, put your list down, and say, I've got 10 minutes to have fun right now, and I'm going to give myself permission, because in the long run, I know that floor needs to get cleaned, but the kids are actually going to grow up. And when you look back on this, I want you to say that you really did seize the fun moments. So I just want to talk about where you can find fun ideas. And the first one here is use what you have around you. That's a really important one. And hopefully tonight I've shown you a few pictures of how we've used things like recycling. We've used curtains and couches to make cubby houses. In this picture, my son discovered packaging materials, and instead of saying, no, you can't play with that, I obviously let him have a little bit of fun and gave him some boxes and dustpan and broom to actually play with that. And to tell you the truth, he is a collector. He still is a collector, and he kept this packaging and called it white corn. And that actually was a plaything for quite a long time that, you know, we used for all sorts of sorting and posting and playing and tossing around things. You know, something that was free, but something that we could actually just use that was around us. As I said earlier, I did lots and lots of research when I was home with my kids. So I used Pinterest and blogs a whole lot to get ideas of fun things that I can do. And I know some of you don't have all of that time to do that. And so that's where, you know, I feel really fortunate that I had that opportunity, and I got to try out lots of things with my kids as well. So the next thing you can do is actually ask friends on Facebook, or even in real life. You could even ask friends, what do you do? Or can I come over and we'll have a slime making afternoon with all our kids, and we'll do it outside so we don't freak out about the mess. And, you know, or, you know, how do you do, I've known mums who are like, no, we don't have paint in our house or Play-Doh in our house. We'll do that at playgroup. But, you know, you might say to a friend, how do you manage painting in your house? Or, you know, I've got a blackboard, how can I use that? So actually asking people how they incorporate some of those elements in there, or even asking friends on Facebook, like, you know, we've got the weekend off, what's a fun place to go that's near us? And you might get some ideas of places you haven't visited before as a family, and you can actually make that happen as well. So, you know, actually doing a little bit of preparation and work there so that you can find those fun ideas as well. And in saying that, I actually, because of this thing of mums not really having time to do that, I've created the Fun Mum Club. And so that I launched that, I think probably a month and a half ago, and I've had a few people join up, and just really I've loved putting it together. And I know a few people on tonight have actually joined that as well. So what that is you get an activity pack mailed to you. And in that is actually a list of 30 ideas that you can do with the things that are in the activity pack. And then there's a Facebook group as well that has a weekly theme. So we post a weekly theme and people put in their ideas for that theme and how they're doing it. And we also put in 4 or 5 days worth of websites that you can go to and get more ideas about that. So far we've done autumn and we've done bath time fun, and this week we're doing waiting games, because I think the more waiting games we have up our sleeve, the better. I've learned some things which I'm like, yeah, this is great ideas that you can use when you're in the car, when you're waiting for something or traveling somewhere, when you're Costco waiting for somebody to get all the food from the kiosk. When you're in the doctor's surgery in the waiting room, some waiting games that you could have there. So we have weekly themes, and then we have ideas sharing, and we'll be soon having some brainstorms and question and answers where we can come in and actually talk about some questions that people have about how to prepare. When I did a poll in this Facebook group earlier about times of the day that people were struggling with, a lot of them was like just before dinner time. You know, we don't know what to do with our kids then. So we'll have some brainstorming about that sort of thing as well. So if you'd like to be part of that, the aim is to save you time searching for the ideas, because you've suddenly got a resource that's giving you and feeding you these ideas bit by bit. You don't have to do them all, but it's actually helping you save some time. And it's also creating a community of fun mums who have a shared goal of being more fun and bringing that to their families. And they enjoy sharing ideas and supporting each other as well. So what I'm finding is that mums will come on and they'll say, oh, I'm about to try this. And other mums will jump in and say, oh, I've done it this way. And I've tried it like this. And it's just about helping each other to be the best mum that we can be. So I've got a couple of testimonials from people in the group. First of all, Karen said, so many simple ideas to have fun with my little ones. And most of the activities have very little setup, both time and cost, so I can fit it into my full life. The activities suit a wide age range, so I can pick the right ones for me. I like the weekly theme, as fun can be incorporated anywhere, anytime. So I just love that. For me, that kind of goes, oh, we're achieving what we went to do. And Valeska said, giving me some great fresh ideas to try with the kids and encouraging me to take a few minutes to do something with them. Sometimes I do it with them and sometimes I don't, and that's okay. So sometimes she sets them up with an activity and sometimes she actually sits down and does it with them. Using ideas, and this is great, coming up with my own to reduce screen time and getting the kids doing something else. And I love that she's taken the basic ideas and she's started coming up with her own, because she's training her mind to see these opportunities as well. So thanks, Valeska, for that one, that testimonial too. And so if you'd like to jump into the Fun Mum Club, it's just $27, which is my introductory price until the end of the month. And what that incorporates is actually getting the pack sent out to you so that you'll get it in the mail with everything you need for those activities, and then into the Facebook group as well, where you get that extra support and that opportunity to interact with other people. And there's no ongoing costs for that either. So yep, it's just $27 for that initial pack. And then every now and then I might put together some more packs that you can purchase if you wanted to as well. The other thing I didn't include in that was there's also a Pinterest board that is specifically for that pack. So you can see a whole heap of other ideas and ways to use that if you're a visual person. So if you're interested in that, you can simply go to this link. I'm going to pop that in the chat box if I can. Excellent. So feel free to go there and have a look at that. And you get the activity pack, the list of 30 ideas, and the Facebook group and the Pinterest page as well. So you get to really get those ideas going. Is there any questions about being a fun mum, or any thoughts that you have about, what to do next, really? I'd love to answer those now. So thanks so much for staying on with me tonight, and thanks for putting up with my croaky voice. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, let me know if you've got any thoughts or feedback or any questions there, and then I will see what I can do to answer those. I guess, I just want to say again that this is a really important thing for me, because I really want mums to know that they've got the support out there, that they can find help when they're going for that. So this is just so many people who thanks, Tara, giving you some things to think about and change in the Facebook group. Tara, I'm so thankful that you said that the other day, and I thought, oh, I'm already running a workshop of this. So I really hope that that's helped you tonight, Tara, and let me know if you've got any other questions too. Just really want to offer that support to you. Just going on from that as well, I just want to share a couple more ways that are out there of just sort of what Coaching Mum is and offers. So what you can see there is the practical things there. We've got the Facebook group, which is Be the Mum You Want to Be. I know a few people have just joined in who've signed up for the workshop, but if you're not a part of that, then feel free to jump in there. You can actually go onto the Coaching Mum Facebook page, and then you can actually see the group from there. Every now and then I do some mini courses, and I've got the Fun Mum Club, and they're just a small cost, which is just to support you with that life management and feeling overwhelmed. And then if you really want to go, if you're feeling that turmoil and you really feel like you need some extra support and help in those internal things of working through how you're going with motherhood, I offer some one-on-one coaching and also a motherhood map course and coaching as a package as well. And so they cost a little bit more, but that means you get some more one-on-one support, and we work through those issues together for you that you might need. Thanks, Anna. Such good ideas. I'm off to find some Lego men to put in some strange places. Wonderful. I think some photos of those would be great, Anna. I really look forward to seeing what happens there. Excellent. So if you're interested in any of those things, just let me know. You can simply reply to one of my emails, just do a shout out, and I can help you with those as well. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate your time, and it's been a fun night. Thank you for sharing your thoughts along the way. And I really want to wish you all the best in your journey of motherhood and in how you are going about being a fun mum. There's so many things that we need to do, and there's so many things we can do. And I hope that tonight we've been able to talk about kind of bringing that real focus into the balance that we want, and enjoying the season of motherhood that we're in, which is what I really want you to do. So thanks so much. I want to wish you a good night, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.